guys, I have a really basic but important tip for you today regarding the bow holds. This was on my mind because I was talking about it with one of my Skype students yesterday, and he was talking about the fact that when he would lift his pinky from the bow and give himself the freedom to not have the pinky tapped on top, that he felt like he had more mobility in the wrist. And I realized that there was this one really important tip that I don't think I emphasized enough in my original How to Hold the Bow video. And it is simply that it's really crucial to have your knuckles at an angle to the bow. Mine live right here at approximately a 45-degree angle to the bow. What I see a lot of people doing when they're self-taught or trying to learn bow hold based on videos and pictures, or just kind of winging it and trying to figure out a way to hold the bow, is, and I used to do this too, is we'll tend to start with the knuckles sort of parallel to the bow. I think there's just some kind of physical logic about that, or something about the way that it looks that kind of makes us want to do that. But if you have your knuckles parallel to the bow, then as you try to bow up or down, the wrist is going to feel really locked. Notice if I just tilt my hand this way, and that tilt is coming from a rotation at the elbow. See that if I just rotate at my elbow, then I can get my knuckles at that 45-degree angle to the floor, say. And then if I bring the bow in, also kind of parallel to the floor and just totally horizontal, touch the side of my finger first, then get the thumb underneath the bow, these two fingers on top, and the pinky that taps on top is also, it's not going to be parallel to the bow. You're going to kind of use this corner of the pinky to do that counterweight. I actually don't remember anymore how much I went into detail in that original bow hold video, but see, if I let go of these fingers, I can hold the bow here. The thumb is actually holding it from underneath. So these fingers just flop over and hold it securely to the thumb, but I am not having to, and right now, okay, what I'm doing now with holding the bow in thin air, I try to tell my students to never do that, because when you're actually playing, the violin is always holding some of the weight of the bow. So we're never going to actually have to hold it this tightly for playing. So what I tell everybody to do is hold the weight of the bow with this hand while you're mucking around with this, and then if you want to let go before you put it on the violin, hold it vertically. And this is a great way to check everything out without putting extra tension in your hand of holding it side to side. While you're holding it with the weight here, you can also play with this angle. You know? While your fingers are loosely on the bow and they're not having the responsibility of holding on. What tends to happen when I see people trying to get their bow hold right like this, so what you're going to do is you're going to start putting more of a side-to-side hold to try to hold the bow up and support all this weight. And this is just really hard to control. It's so much easier if you just are supporting the bow from underneath so that you don't feel like it could ever slip between your fingers. If you're holding it like this, you're going to have to hold it a lot tighter, because if you don't hold on to it tightly, it will pop out. Like this, it's really loose. The same student that I was telling you about this pinky thing that got me thinking about this and thinking about you guys in terms of this little tip, he also pointed out that when you really get the bow hold right, quote unquote right, it's kind of like holding a baby bird that you want to like save from a cat and it has an injured wing. You know, it's not going to get away, but you don't want to hold it too tightly either. So there you go. So just a little demo here. Knuckles at 45-degree angle, and just to show you kind of what that allows us to do here. So it allows my wrist to be bent up to play with the frog. See, my wrist is straight here when and I have about a 90-degree angle here at the middle of the bow. And then as I go to the tip, you'll see my wrist can really easily bend like that. And now if I take the bow away, you'll see that this motion of my wrist is this and not this, which is uncomfortable, not as much range of motion, and can actually lead to injury in your wrist. So I hope that maybe clears a little bit more up for some of you guys about the bow. If something was still feeling a little stuck, maybe you can loosen it up just with this little tiny rotation here at the elbow.